So my name is Sister Pure, like I said. I'm a chartered accountant. How did it start? So I'm from Tata, born and bred. I went to primary school in a primary school called Northridge Primary. I went to high school at Woodstow in Dufoot. I wasn't always this outgoing-ish. This is an adult step I took. I was the quiet kid, the introverted one, but the one who laughed the most. I liked netball. I played netball a lot, and I was very into academics. Academics was my thing. So in hindsight, about grade 11-ish, I'll start grade 9-ish. In grade 9, you do something called an aptitude test. It helps you determine what you should do career-wise and the subjects you should take from grade 10. So we do the test, we get the results, they call your parents because your parents get the results, and then some psychologist will speak to you guys and your parents. So I scored in the physics, sciences, numbers, so doctor, accountant. So my dad picked my subjects for me. My dad picked maths, my mother picked physics. I picked EGD because I didn't want to study, and I thought all these things that they picked for me was very difficult. So I needed a subject where I could breathe. Loved my academics. In grade 11, I realized I want to be a doctor for babies. I wanted to be a pediatrician, and my accounting teacher didn't want that. He said to me one day, just before he took us out to go have a career talk at UP, and he said, Ndolizo, if you really want to be a doctor, let me ask you something. Would you rather lose people's money or would you rather lose lives? It sat with me because I wanted to be a doctor for kids, right? So now I'm going to have to deliver the unfortunate news that I couldn't save your kid. It became a reality check. I can make your money back. I can't bring a person. So I chose accounting. Fast forward, grade 12, I applied for a bursary. My parents could afford it, but I didn't think they should pay for it because I wanted to do something I wanted first. They weren't really, my dad didn't care. He was like accounting or medicine, but I low-key feel like he wanted a child to be a doctor. So I was like, let me do this myself. Then if it fails, then I'll go back like I'll do the medicine for you. So I did accounting, got a bursary from PWC. So I got the bursary and the job. So I've never done like interview for adults, like where you hand in a CV, or taking is serious, like they're strong, or like like as I know it's serious, it's a hectic man. No, I see myself in 5 years. Like I was in grade 11, 12 when I went for my interview. I had a job. Like I knew from jump, I'm gonna be uniform, but job is set it. I'm that girl. So I got the bursary, went to UP. My dad said no to res because blessings were a thing and my dad didn't want me to become a stat. So stayed at home, did the varsity thing, and it was good. Initially in first year, Usisi was right, just that when you study BCom, nenza yonkindo, nenza stats, nenza accounting, nenza marketing, nenza communications. It's a lot. It doesn't feel like you should because you don't understand it at first. Like I don't understand why as an accountant I need to do psychology because like numbers don't have feelings, so and understand. Then you get to second year you do a bit of commercial law as well. It doesn't make sense yet. The picture is still very gray at this point. Nothing works. Then you get to third year. In third year they drop all your subjects, so in first year you have about 10 to 12. In second year you have about 8-ish, 9-ish. In third year you have 4. 4, like what Brother Boipelo said, you focus on taxation, auditing, financial management, and accounting. Now, when you go right, it's nice because you think it's just the textbook that you studied, right? By textbooks, I mean like we carry suitcases because there's like 50 billion of them. There's IFRS, International Auditing Standards, the tax legislation, which is about this thick, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So you go right in your third year, and then you think when you go into your test, like an auditing, for example, it's very practical textbook material, but then when you move on, you get your degree, you go to honors. In honors, you still focus on the 4. You move, but the trick is with accounting, unfortunately, if you fail one, you do do it all again in honors. It's the unfortunate part of being if you want to be a CA, it sucks in that department. There's no, in course it's called like to do another module. You don't, no. So unfortunately, because tax changes every year, every time Ukodongwane speaks for a budget speech, I hate him for all my life, because that means your textbook changes. So each time the textbook changes, it trickles down, because all four of these things, they speak to each other. So then you can't I can't have last year's tax but this year's auditing. So zonke, if you fail at one, zonke next year, yeah. Then you have a few privileges. I was lucky enough, book smart, to be part of a few things. Like at UP, if you're a top achiever, if you get above 75, you join something called the Golden Key. It sounds cute, like when you're in varsity, like, oh, I'm a top 10 university. And then you realize it's really just a bunch of people who have no people skills, really smart people. Like there's no learning potential. Like I'll never learn from you because we all think we're the smartest in the room. So it's like a pissing contest. Like, no, 89, when I 97. You see, it's not fertile ground for growth. So when I did my CTA, at UNISA. I didn't do it at UP because in third year you realize the degree is difficult, and my marks went from 80s to very low 50s very quickly. It was very hard to show my dad my report as well, because he's used to now all of a sudden depression. He's not proud as much. He didn't say it out loud, but I saw it in his face. But yeah, your marks drop. UP had a 55% average to make honors. If you want to do honors at UP, you have to have 55 overall. I had 54.75. They said no. There was no Sagashem. They were like, no babes, no thanks. Tried to apply at UJ. UJ said to me, if your own university doesn't take you, I'm not taking you either. So basically, like, you're rejected. Like, and UJ takes everyone. That's what I thought. That's what Facebook said. They lied. UJ doesn't take everybody. I had to do UNISA. Now, you're used to, when you go from like a traditional university, UNISA is different. You're used to interacting. You're used to having someone stand in front of you, you prepare for class, you come, you sit. About, you can go, ma'am, I don't understand. Go explain. UNISA, you're on your own. Your textbooks arrive at your house. When's the course material by yourself? You will email the lecturer, they will answer you after the test. You're on your own. You go write at showgrounds, you will realize you are the youngest in the room very quickly because you write with your parents. I didn't know this. I realized when I got to showgrounds the first time, but you go to showgrounds, you write, you pass eventually. I don't know how I did it. I didn't write one of my tests. I had to graduate, and the same day of my graduation, I had to write test 3 at UNISA. Now, there's no other day. Like normal universities will say, no, we'll set an alternative day. You go right in your lecturer's office. UNISA. So I wrote 3 of the 5 tests in the day. So you write them like one after the other, like a drill. Like you become dizzy. Eventually you're not even hungry anymore. You just write. Then I wrote 3 and I walked out. Went to graduate. Luckily for me, I did it because I wouldn't have graduated at UNISA COVID. So got that experience. Finished my honors, started at PwC. At PwC, you do your articles. You can do your articles at anywhere. You can do them at ShopRite, because they have them as well. You can do them at a bank, they pay the best. You can do it at AG, they also pay really well. Or you could do it at a traditional auditing firm. Perks, the auditing firm, people say it carries a lot of weight on your CV. I just think it's a fancier way of saying it will ruin your life when you're young. Don't quote me. I did mine and I picked mining, so I did my articles in mining. I did my training at mine sites, so construction, mines, energy, your ESCOMs, solar, all of it. I can tell you what happens underground at the back of my head. I could audit a mine with my eyes closed. It's really, I did it for 3 years. Then during that 3-year time, you write board exams. You write the first one in your first year of articles. That's immediately after honors. And that first one is basically everything you did in university. So it's called the Initial Test of Competence, ITC. You write, and then you get your results via SMS, because psychos read like that. You get your results via SMS, and if you work for an auditing firm, they have a whole event, and they get your results. This was before Copy Act. And they get your results. Your audit firm will do a social like this, ride and drinks, Kumandi, and then at 4 it goes down. Your boss walks in with a mic and the results, and then they'll read, P will fail, didn't happen, but I passed the first time, thank God. I didn't attend the social. I have horrible anxiety, so I was home, and I got the results in the passage of my home. All I saw was passed, and then I woke up on the ground. I fainted. But that's how hectic it becomes. And then in your third year, end of second year, you write Board 2. Board 2 is APC. APC is not, now it's no longer the textbook. Now it's experience. Now the question goes, as a financial manager, as a chartered accountant, now you must give insight. You must give strategy insight. You must give human resources insight. You must give management accounting insight, finances insight. All of it. I failed my first attempt. You would think it's like, okay, you can do it again. It doesn't feel like that, man. No, it doesn't, because you get them Friday, Monday, you have to be back at work, and you feel like everyone knows that you failed. They do, but they don't say it to your face. But yeah, that was the first knock. It sucks. You feel horrible, and you feel stupid because your peers passed, you didn't, and there's money involved. The firm pays for the first exam. You have to pay for the next one. 7,000. Ali exam. Yabo. It's not easy. Now you must. I was more angry about the money. I don't think the fail is like I thought. Maliam. And you must also register for your board course. They help you prepare for the journey. You also have to pay for that because the firm's not going to pay for it. So 7,000 exam board course, guitars, what, yeah, 6,000, 13, one low. I honestly attended the classes because I paid. I didn't listen to anything that lady said. Then I wrote again, passed second attempt, thank God. I wouldn't write it a third time. I told my parents. Passed it. And then now I'm done with articles, I get signed off, I'm competent. That's amazing, brilliant. Enter the job market. So for 7 years of your life is set for you. You have everything. You know what you're doing tomorrow. I'm auditing a mine, I'm auditing a mine, I'm auditing a mine. Before that, it's school. That one was the obvious one. When you're done with your articles, you have to pick a career now. Now you don't know what to do. I don't want to do audit because I hate it. Brother Boipilo is right. We are the most annoying people in the world. We always ask why. We will ask why you did it like this. We know the answer, we just want to hear you lie to us. Because you always, clients lie, all clients lie. And you guys hide things in the worst ways, so we know the answers. I didn't want to do audit. And when you don't have board 2, your opportunities are decreased a lot because now I can't be a normal manager because I'm not an accountant yet. I'm just this girl who I'm signed off, but I don't have the qualifications, so now I'm floating. I take an opportunity because you must always put up your hand, always be willing to pivot in your careers because you'd be amazed at the opportunities that are around you. I take an opportunity, they promote me, but they don't promote me in finance, they promote me in IT. No, makes sense. Like, what do you mean? They promote me and I go to Cape Town. I find myself in Cape Town doing IT audit. I'm now rather Lesegong in the computer science. I've never seen it. I think IT audit was a paragraph in auditing, not textbook. It's like a page. Like, that's it, it's a page. All of a sudden I'm doing SAP, I'm doing reports testing, I'm doing a bit of coding, I'm designing applications for PwC, I'm I'm not a chartered accountant yet. Ne? This is like January. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm taking screenshots. I'm on SAP. I'm writing SC16N. It's a T code for SAP. Weird things you learn. Now I'm learning what goes on behind the numbers, right? When you learn what happens behind the numbers, there are many things that happen behind the scene. Now I'm in IT audit. Things are great. I get my results in Feb. I qualified. Few years a CA now. Things are great. I cry a lot. I faint a little. You know my thing. It's my thing. I faint. It's my thing. It's my thing. I get my results, and I realized, one, loved the opportunity in Cape Town. IT audit was great, but it's not challenging. My entire life was built to challenge me. I wanted a challenge. That's why I liked what I did. It's challenging. It makes you think beyond. So you're going to give me the number 5. I must think, what made 5? Why did we reach 5? How did this person think that 5 should be the ideal number? So IT audit wasn't as great. Came back, looked for a job. PwC said, Masik Pin, the promotion season, let's go. Back to Joburg, financial due diligence. So now I'm in financial due diligence. I basically take companies like, let's say, for example, Sister Amma works for Toyota. Toyota has a luxury line, Lexus. If, let's say, for example, many years ago, before Lexus was introduced and it was a standalone by itself, I helped Toyota buy Lexus. I will tell Toyota, Lexus is worth, after I do my due diligence, look at the numbers, see, I will say, if everything goes well, Lexus is worth 2 billion, let's go. So that's what I do. I do that on a daily basis. And that's how I got here. I always say in summary how I got here: God, family, perseverance. I couldn't have done it without all of it. I'm one of number 6 of 8 siblings. Sibaning, I saw that face you made. But I wouldn't have made it without them. I think when you have a support structure, you thrive better. It's not an easy journey. Most of you are in varsity, you've already picked your careers. The one thing I will depart with is choose wisely. When I say choose wisely, it's broad. But it's something my dad said, it only trickled. It makes sense as an adult. Choose wisely, be it your environment, your friends, the people you interact with. My mom used to say, boys can wait. I used to think, she's a terrorist, he thinks I'm cute. But as an adult, I realized she was right. They really can wait. There are things, when I look at my peers who made alternative decisions, their lives are derailed to a certain extent. If it was up to me, I would tell you, focus on your books. The rest will come. And it's nicer crying like in the leather seats of your own car than because Taviso didn't text you back on time in your mother's house washing the dishes because she said you should. Yeah, bon? So make those sacrifices now, and more than anything, do your best. Put your best foot forward. Sister Amo is not lying. Social media matters. It's nice being an influencer now. Twerking on the internet. It's nice now. It's so nice now. But companies really do deep dives. Post things that you'll be proud of to say. If they said switch on your phone, show me your social media, you're not embarrassed. You don't feel like you have to explain why you posted this, why you commented and said this. Be proactive. If you want to study accounting because there's someone in high school, so you need an APS score of about, for traditional universities, about 32 to 37. That's, if you go above 37, you're brilliant, I mean amazing. But like 32 to 37, if you take Maths Lit, you can do it at UJ. I think the APS score, if you have mathematical literacy, is about 28. If you have normal mathematics, it's about 25. And then TUT offers a few bridging courses, so you can get a diploma, then you can bridge at other universities. So there are many different paths you can take, but always be willing to pivot. If, for example, I never took the gig to go to Cape Town, I would have been unemployed. because that was the only offer that was on the table. It was sucky at the time because you change, new environment, new skills that you have to learn, but in the long run it helps. You get to do incredible things. I've gotten to meet some of the people that I don't think I would have ever met on a daily basis. So Petrus, no, beloved, assign me. And you see his face crumple because he's like, what needs to be signed? And I'm like, no, sweetie. No, sweetie. You get to have tough conversations. You get to meet great people. You get to call Cyril, and not Mr. Ramaphosa or whatever. Like, oh, Cyril. The numbers are not numbering. That's why we said this. You get to make connections that last a lifetime. If I ever need a job at a mine, I know that there are people I can speak to. I have that avenue open. If I ever want to go back to IT, I have that avenue open. You make relationships with your clients. If I ever wanted to go to PPC and mix cement and tell them how to mix it financially, though, not like, no. Then I have that opportunity. But keep your options open. Like Brother Boipilo, for example, he went to Edgar's as a cashier. Those steps tell you everything. A cashier, financial controller, Aspani, Kwazu next, now he's a controller. Like it's these dynamics. If he had never said yes, that opportunity might not have come. So be willing to always say yes and work hard. In terms of building your resume and I, like Sister Amu, have always worked for PwC. I can't tell you how to build your resume, but put your best foot forward. Always say, I'll do it in the room. Be willing. If you do this, I'll do it. It doesn't matter if quasi, like you have no clue what the hell they want you to do, but your willingness is something that will stay in their eyes forever. Because then they call you Indian team player. They'll say Sister Pure is a team player. Sister Pure is proactive. In corporate, that is terms for we can fast track you if they pick you. So I, for example, team player, I said, fine, I'll do IT. They promote you, they take you to Cape Town. Fine, I'll do financial due diligence. They promote you, they move you somewhere else. Saying yes all the time creates the impression that you're teachable. Saying yes also opens doors that you might have never thought you could. You know, I thought I'd be an auditor forever. Hated it. And then if I hadn't explored different avenues, I wouldn't be here now. So yeah, that's how me in a nutshell. Yeah, thank you.
It's difficult, yeah, like it's sorry for no more with notes and everything. So if you delay the GM, if you delay the CA, but all serious, accountants and everything. So ish. But anyways, my name is Kumo Musupi Kumo Itzile McDonald Manyene. Yeah, MKM
McG.
Yeah. But basically means when I was born, it was a party. Everyone was fighting for this child. You see? Someone Barano is Musupi is gonna lead us and what Kumo Itzile, the wealth has come through him. Donald, son of Donald, my dad is Donald. It was beats. It was beats. So, Sister Amu then asked me to speak about, maybe touch on entrepreneurship because I'm in the space. And then I thought, nah, man, I did entrepreneurship some time back. Unfortunately, some were not there, but it's something that we can research and get a lot of information on the internet. Again, but something that we never talk about. I've never had anyone game or in spaces talking about maintenance engineering. Have you heard of such?
Nope.
Exactly my point. So now, I work for a company nearby Mahaliswita. The head office is in Rustenburg. They supply over, I think, Spanish Arena is more than 42,000 kilo square meters. Yeah. So, but based in Rustenburg mostly. Northwest, the whole of Northwest is ours. We recently got it. Now. And then resupplier. So we have 3 plants. Kiko Rustenburg, which is Falkop, head office Rustenburg town. Then we have Klebdrift, which is in Hammanskraal. My office is Godeni. Then we have Valmansdal, which is in Valmansdal area, more Pretoria. Supplying Gamel Drift, if you know Gamel Drift, Rodeplat. Surely we know Rodeplat. Yeah, Sable Hills, nice estates, Gonandi Minister and all that. But east of Pretoria, then there's a Cullinan plant that supplies Cullinan and surrounding areas that Cullinan, your Rayton, Somervater, Prison, and all that. So now, Nage Veragako Mahalis Water as something called a maintenance planner. So now, a maintenance planner is someone that does something that is very unusual. My job is to analyze risk, identify risk, prevent risks in maintenance. Then part of it is to ensure that people get water, primary function. If then we're talking high performance culture, regular customer focus, I must make sure that magogo or villaging that is what is important to us. Through your borehole systems or abstraction from body reeving, and then we process the water to your reservoirs and then to your tap. So now my job here, what do we call maintenance planning and scheduling? We prevent, and there's things called preventative maintenance. That is what I specialize in, preventative maintenance. All tactics are maintenance, reactive, condition-based, basically o driver koloi, then re lokela dilo tse ba reng ke di-sensor ko automotive. They understand that field. The sensor then it will go to how the kilos, its condition monitoring. The kilos 15,000 you are due, but then that 15,000 is what is called preventative maintenance, to prevent an asset from failing completely. That is what we do. If I don't do that, pompo it's on the pomp from Hammanskraal to Mudimul or Bilabila. If we don't do some activities to ensure that plant availability, then plant availability basically it makes sure is the microphone available when I want it to be available. Basically, is your car ready when you want it to be ready? Hold sensor, key or thing, does it start? If it starts immediately, the plant or the asset is available. That is what I deal with. And then background. So now go hire for, because given it's a norm, people tell the background. That passed on is me, is twins after me. So then you'll be for a primary school, waking up at 4:30 every day, and kinamela base, kinamela train, kinamela taxi, special, everything. And then I told myself one day, I don't know, this thing of waking up at 5:30 or 4:30, I am never ever gonna do it once I'm employed. I told the universe that message, guys, do whatever that you need to do, Marana. When I go to work, I'm not gonna wake up at 5:30. And since I was employed, that 2014, I'm still young by the way, le nna ke tshwana le bophiwe like opportunities di tlile ke lo monyane ke le 2K, you know. No, let's appreciate. Nice to meet you. I'm still very young. So, yeah, then to this day, I wake up at 7:30, and then go miracle mbare refika at 7:30, nuggets and 11. Mara I'll tell you why. And then got 2 hanging away high, I go to home. If Kenya got 12 or 11, I feel that I'm more planting. Okay. Kachiga high, no problem. Then I claim go. This is not for social media this time. Then I claim deliver. Everyone report this time or a performance or something by this time. You need to be disciplined about that. Or when you young, young and all that, every deadline, get deadline. That doesn't change. Luckily, I work in a good environment. About follow, which is good. Then my team, I gave follow. Guys, Friday, I want my report. Or 7 or 9, there is you. I don't care. Mara, I want my work. It speaks to discipline. What I did, civil. So from UP4E, then I go Academy for Christian Education, and then grade 8, 9, then I left college. Wow, I know. Yes. Because I say something that is common. What is common is streams are in as a grade 0, 12, after matric, varsity 3 years, get a degree, 4 years, job, and then unfortunately in this day and age, job are hard. So what do you do then? Bye-bye. So my dad is an artisan, he's a lecturer, upholstery, has been doing that for many years. I can safely say that if he's not the best upholstery lecturer in the country, he's one of the top 3. I would train to be a man in this society where we are sort of conditioned to be soft to some degree. I'm a strong advocate of mental health. In a certificate, skipper and jacket and dust coat and everything. I was hospitalized. When I came back, but God decided that I achieve. More you must work here. More you must work. Or you'll feel otherwise about things, but topa days, topa pampir. That's what my dad said. I will be intern 2014 Ngaramusuku. How fika go merugo? Bar topa pampir. Topa pampir. Or whether or only diploma ya how or only chief topa pampir, you're not gonna lose anything by topa pampir. Boundaries. Now, if then we're not deciding or not, because now I have this, I am not gonna do that. My man or my sister, you will never get to a point whereby you cannot have a 7 and 9 o'clock we can go home. 2 hours of work. So I'm encouraging you to buy that paper. It will make sense one day. One day is gonna make sense. Because you don't know. Sometimes we are at work. It's an instruction from senior. Kindly move the dustbin to here. I go what's the reasons, but kindly move that. Sometimes when you go test or motor is he willing to take instruction. Unfortunately, When I then at that time, can unfortunately, I was more tasting one about or no man dona nagasiri like I send marijuana only the general work. We got no problem. So what management does, and I've heard a few times, then I would like interview, unfortunately. I would like interview and then I go grammar at the panel. And we got no man. Pero wa hopola ineno go botsa ke re ona le mfano mombe ana or ana chiri. E clever. Ona with the rights. With the rights. Mara the responsibility part asho ka tsona. But the rights is on what it, and then we got no man asho. Tinyiko masango ke na. But oh, no problem. Get to the interview, you hit. Somebody candidate. So I can go with ever no maraman or no character problem. This person is perfect. Qualification, experience, perfect. Flop, okay, why? Aim. Me quite high, but no, this man, I just cannot say instruction. If an emergency go Cape Town, there's a meeting with the minister and all that, and then we're now on a commitment there with the young one. One important event with the young one. Ever know the minister CEO cannot go to that meeting. And then we're talking about boundaries. Ever know, I get decide where the boundaries are. I'm raising them. I cannot say anything. I'm raising them. Then unfortunately the company cannot have representation or that very, very, very important meeting. Maybe then when we're deciding or no, we want to buy a portion of Rainwaters Corporations. Release our Makalis water, but character nyana ela yao chifta das big or auto papa mbiro or then you kawati lo. Yeah. So be careful of such. So long story short, after grade 8 went to college Kaira NQF level 2, 3, 4, equivalent to matric. But now, advantage now I have experience still at that matric level. There is NCV program. If you surely have heard of it, some. NCV program, then I got N4, N5, N6, practicals, diploma in civil, then intern. Long story short, then I got an internship. It was 2 years. I left it. I became what? A general work. Weird. Chief. Interview, we need to ensure that we know what we are applying for. Because what I was managing a construction site as an intern, remember. Maragarmo, guys, I want employment in civil engineering. In case you want to do civil engineering or you're doing it, it's tough. It's very tough. That industry is very, very, very tough. So that me, when I become a general worker, let me secure the bag first. And then after we secure the bag, we'll grow in this company. So my advice, get into that company. If it means you're only general work, do it. General worker, everybody does being, you make sure that the place is tidy and all that. Not so fancy, because we all want fancy careers and all that. But believe you me, there's a lot of mothers and fathers that are general workers at work. And then when now you only know that your dad wakes up in the morning, goes to work. When he gets to work, he finds someone like me, a bigger daddy, kupa, on chief tele, has been. But today you are here, you are not that small money, he's able to take you to school or whatever. So, Rasanyazadi feel the you know? Because everyone in that process is very important. General worker or a cleaner, a mere cleaner. By the way, cleaning is a very good skill. It's not for everyone. I'm sure you've seen some of the bedrooms, your relatives and my relatives or my little brother. So I know skills are cleaning. So if you can clean quite well, it's a good skill. You can be a manager somewhere in the cleaning division. So you can do that. So then, to cut the long story short, now I'm very simple. Discipline. I think the colleagues Bible is do what you want, know what you want. But what is important also, the Bible is do what you need to do so that you can do what you want to do whenever you want to do it. What you need to do is not nice. It is never nice. It's never nice, but at some point you'll be able to do what you want to do, which is wake up at 7:30, or wake up at 9, or snooze alarm at 8 a.m. Nice things. Mara, it took me how many years? 11. For people snooze alarm. So it's not gonna happen overnight. No, to snooze alarm at 7:30, by the way, not at 5 a.m. or 4:30. No, not that one. 7. So do what you need to do. Be disciplined. Ignore boys. Boys, to some degree, ignore the ladies. Focus. I might look otherwise, but avoid. When I was a bit younger, I was avoiding because my dad said, Chana, your job is to go to school. You don't have to clean the house. Mama, how they know high, when I go to school, study, focus on that. Unfortunately, I never had the privilege to talk about the holidays and what, because I was always working for high. So some of you guys were like, and I had to work just to go to the cinema. I had to work for that money. If the time was on, the one on a van and at least offer come around, it is a high. You're very key. It's something that I was raised with, told, because I was a cheese boyish. So then the little bar chief, you have to work for money, because why? Tuesday, and then because Papa has it, because I'm a daddy's boy, daddy, can I have this? Then he said, it's all about Moto trying to enforce discipline on money. Boy, I see you have to work. To this day, I am doing my normal job, farming operations. I am there. I sell perfumes with lotions and linen mist and everything. Why? Because I was always taught you must work. I've worked for Kawashi, so it's dangerous for make no doubt. And then I'm simply saying what these angles of trying to make money and trying to survive than trying to wait for that job. If that job doesn't come, and we are Maningi that have been waiting for that job, and it's not coming. And unfortunately, the honest truth is that in our region, there are a lot of youth that are unemployed, but they lose school, and to some degree, depression is in, because now one release school, mama sacrificed. You saw the sacrifices. To some degree, you just went to school hungry. Sometimes Bazari didn't pay. Sometimes you excluded and all that. Then it is reasonable for you to be depressed. However, that is the problem. You need to find a solution. To whose life? Your life. Not anybody's life, but yours. So, I told you about cleaning, car wash, something that can make money for you, at least to go next door, or the 5 houses, or a strata sale and all that. I used to do that, by the way, from 16 years. And my parents were sharp. I didn't have a problem, but since Papa said you must work for money, and then money is not easy to get. Kare bucket, kare brush ya moriri, ya ditlhapo, score brush, toothbrush, sunlight liquid, itembo heno, kaya ka lotlhatso dikoloi. First cup ang butela botlhoko 50 rand. Okay, 50 rand. Kare ka polish. Now ke na le polish, ke na le material. Kare tlhatswa. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, ke na le oma 400, 500. Now then I don't need to go high. I can buy my own equipment to try and survive. So mara ke startile something. I got enough and I got just gonna wait. With like simple thing like with my farming operations, I started with my partners from scratch. Receivers from our salaries. 1,000 rand every month, 1,000 for about 4 years. 1,000. Finally, someone would say, no, apply for funding and all that. Funding, my man. It was an envelope, and we didn't have money for envelope. So, we are going to start with the little that we have to fund this side hustle. But what is important, once you are at side hustle, don't neglect your primary hustle. That is funding the side hustle. Because sometimes we tend to forget that part. Unfortunately, you are hustling and then on a side hustle is I don't know. I'm going to say your sneakers and all that. Or start to focus on neglect the primary, unfortunately, brotherless. Then they fire you. Now you can't fund side whenever in a little challenges. So happy late. One day is going to make sense. Happy late. Try this, that, and the other will be fine. So there is my 2 cents on not really on maintenance but on life. I am still very, very young. Practical. Because we are faced with real life situations every day. But maybe then you can try that angle to say that maybe let me try that and see what's going to happen. And then you find out that actually this thing is working. Then you can move, grow, escalate, you can register a company, then escalate, you can be a sparker. Now on a professional level, now on a track record, money is in the account, there's evidence, you can probably get funding from your different institutions. You grow, jiggy, now you have your own kawash at a mall, 2 malls, 3 malls. But we study like a target system. So let's try that. Let's try to do something our lives. It's not easy. I am young, I see it every day. I see my peers struggle and it is not a good sight. So let us try that. Sorry maybe to step on continue as a few, but over reality what we are faced with, Let's try that.
I think it's good that I'm the last speaker because I cannot do too much. Go straight to the point. Yeah, and like a lawyer now we sell time, so don't just talk. Let me talk about the legal profession before I talk about myself. If you want to be a lawyer, there's only one profession. If you want to double up, LLB. You can do diploma in what, a certificate in what, you will never be a lawyer until you do an LLB. No double up about that. In some universities these days, you have to do a certain degree before you can do LLB, like vets. You can't just do LLB from the beginning. They want someone who is having a degree already in something. I think other universities will follow and so on. I think these days is much better because now when I was doing law, it was 6 years. Because you have to do there was a certain degree first called B Proc or B Juris, then LLB was an honors degree. So these days, they took the whole 6 years but in 4 years. Yeah, that's why it has so many courses. Now, now what is a lawyer? A lawyer is any person who studied law. Is a lawyer. Now, Renali an attorney, that is something else. An attorney is someone who after a FEJA LLB went to law school. law school was not compulsory, but these days it's compulsory. I think it's around 6 months. I'm told this year, these days is even 4 months. You know, everything now is being curtailed. These days is 4 months. Then from there you have to write board examination. Then after you write board examination, you have to go to High Court to ask the court. So now we are admitted by the court. Not you can finish everything, but when you come to court, you can't get into this profession. Why? Because you must have a good character. I look at school, you had some disciplinary hearings and so on. They will catch up with you when you want to be qualified. So you need to have a clean record, even starting from criminal record and so on. So you just have to be a behaving person if you want to be in this profession. Then the High Court will agree, and then if the High Court agree, they give you a certificate of admission, and then you can start practicing. You can open your own law firm, or you can go and join other law firms and so on and so on. Now there is an advocate. Now, in the past, advocates were people who were only specializing in litigation. In other words, they only talk in court, and mostly High Court. So in other words, as a lawyer, attorney, you prepare all the documents and so on, and then you send an advocate to argue the case. They only deal with arguing cases in court. In other words, that's why you can't find an office-written advocate, It's only attorneys, because advocates are not allowed to open their own law firms. But recently you can, but there is a long procedure that you need to follow and do accounting and so on. But initially that was not the intention. So what is the difference between advocate and attorney? In fact, according to me, it's nothing. In fact, I normally say attorneys, we are more, I don't know whether better than advocates, because advocates don't exist without us attorneys. Because everywhere you see an advocate, you must know there is an attorney behind it. Because we are the ones who are giving them jobs to go and appear on our behalf in the High Courts. So without us attorneys, they don't. And some of us who are also attorneys who have the right to appear in the High Courts, I don't need an advocate. I can do everything that they do, and unless if I'm busy, then I can send an advocate on my behalf. Because as an attorney, you don't automatically appear in the High Court. You need to finish 3 years and make an application to appear in the High Court. So attorneys don't automatically appear in the High Courts. You have to apply for that. Okay, that is the legal profession. Others, you just be a prosecutor guy, you're LLB, you don't need any other further qualification. You can be working in the municipality, you don't need any other further qualification. Admission or whatever, they are not necessary. Magistrate, you don't need any other qualification, but of course you need an experience. You can't be a magistrate without an experience. Okay, myself, Kiferije, my matric many years ago. I did my midrock, I did my LLB, and then I didn't want to go to the profession yet. I stayed at the university, I was a tutor, I did my master's, and then I was done. And then I started to go to law school, and then I was an attorney. I started working with the Legal Aid South Africa. From there I went to University of Limpopo as the supervisory candidate attorney. It is also a law clinic. Then from there I opened my own law firm. And then at some point I get bored, I left it. And then I focused on academia. And then at some point I went back to the profession. So presently I'm running my own law firm. I'm also a full-time academic at the University of Limpopo. I think it's 12 years now, permanent. The whole is 15 years as an academic at the University of Limpopo. Presently, I'm sitting on the Professional Legal Practice Council Disciplinary Committee, the one that is disciplining lawyers. Very difficult work to do, believe me, to decide on the future of someone else. Very difficult, but we have to do it anyway. I'm sitting on that one. I'm also sitting on the Legal Practice Council National Office dealing with the appeal that comes from people, lawyers especially, anyone will want to fight for coming back to the profession, so they appeal and so on and so on. So I'm also sitting on that appeal committee. I was approached also by the church last year to come and serve on the disciplinary committee of the church. I guess it went well because they called me in the morning that I'd been appointed on the disciplinary committee of the Methodist Church on a district level, on the synod that is sitting this weekend. The other thing, I'm also a commissioner for the Small Claims Court, appointed by the Minister of Justice. I'm servicing some few magistrates, you know. The commissioner for Small Claims Court, what do we do there is that you are a magistrate, but you are dealing with matters where the amount involved do not exceed 20,000. A lot of cases there are societies. You know, societies have got issues. You are a member, you want to bury, they didn't give you the money, hey, it's not your husband, all those stories. But as long as the amount involved does not exceed the amount of 10,000. I also served on some time on the commissioner for the CCMA. Yeah, that's exactly what I've done. So I had the opportunity to serve in different legal field. I'm a senior attorney. I've been in the profession, I think, for 19 years now in the profession. But what I'm enjoying most is being in academia. I'm doing my second year doctorate in law. Hopefully I'm finishing. I'll be graduating maybe next year, somewhere around that. So I'm employed by the university on a full-time basis as an academic, and I also employed myself. I employed other people. So I'm an employee and I'm also an employer, you see. So that is the nutshell of it. It's a very interesting profession, and more especially dealing with discipline. And especially for some of us, when you discipline people, you need to be disciplined. You can't discipline people when you are not disciplined. So you have to make sure that you are very, very a disciplined person. Some of the cases that I've done, in the past I used to do a lot of criminal law. In fact, most people who know me from the past, I was a criminal lawyer. I did a lot of criminal cases, shocking as they are. Some of the cases that I've done is that famous case in Lepalan where taxi owners were killed by some thugs using police vehicles and so on. I've done that case. I also done some civil matters. My recent civil matters that was a kind of like profile. I was representing this lady, or generation back to one, Denise Simba. Yeah, there is that case. I think if you follow the news, fighting for custody. Yeah, I was the one that was doing that case. And you know, when I met the lady, I didn't even know I was a celebrity. I knew I was a celebrity when we were busy in the case. When I was surprised, they say, and then what is happening here? Because I met her through other. I also represented Shebeshid when he was out on bail. During all those days. Yeah, so I've been long in the profession. I represented a lot of municipalities I represented. So yeah, I went as far as to argue cases in the Constitutional Court of South Africa. So there is no court which I never appeared in South Africa. And I'm also 2 years ago, you know, when they passed that act, the independent candidate, I was representing Limpopo. IEC of Limpopo nominated me to go and make some amendments on that act that was passed. So I was representing Limpopo IEC on that act. So I had my part.
In this room, I go by Sister Riatel Feber. I'd like to thank our speakers for today who are well educated and experienced. Yeah, those words, I'm really encouraged in myself who actually just graduated and still studying BCom law. And I'm sure with those ones who gave up on life for Tramsevits, I actually encouraged. And those who are still going to tertiary, I encourage to study more further. And yeah. Our well-educated speakers, our sister Amu, we have some gift